of sunlight yesterday, huh? At least it's here today, I guess. And what did I read today? This was kind of interesting to think about. It was an unfortunate situation, but I've often heard of these stories of people using drones and finding lost hikers, although it didn't end up, I guess, in a positive result at the end. This one here says 22-year-old missing hiker found and recovered from Mount Baldy. So the story initially started off here. It says on Sunday, February 4th, 2024 at 11:14 p.m., deputies from the Fontana Sheriff Station received a call regarding a missing hiker in the Mount Baldy area of San Gabriel Mountains, San Bernardino County. The Phi Huang set out on a hike alone at about 2 p.m. and had not been heard from since about 4 p.m. At about 2:30 a.m. on Monday, February 5th, 2024, members of the Sheriff's West Valley Search and Rescue Crew arrived and began a search but did not locate Huang. On Tuesday, February 6, 2024, search and rescue crews continued the search in extremely heavy snowfall. However, avalanche risk hindered the search efforts and the crews were pulled off the mountain. Search and rescue personnel will remain at the trailhead and will resume searching when it is safe to do so. So despite their efforts, they couldn't locate the person, and they basically just gave general warnings when people go on these types of hikes. Be prepared, or I suppose it'd be wise to go with other people too. But with that, all of a sudden, I guess somebody was flying their drone in the area and they potentially spotted the person. This one says, on February 10, 2024 at approximately 3:25 p.m., the U.S. Forestry Department notified Sheriff's Dispatch that a citizen flying a drone may have spotted missing hiker Phi Huang. Deputies and search and rescue team members responded to the upper San Antonio Creek Falls area, but were unable to hike to the spot where Miss Huang was believed to be due to the conditions on the mountain. Sheriff's aviation crews were unable to perform an aerial search due to high winds. Search and rescue team members stayed the night near the location to preserve the scene. At approximately 7:45 a.m., Sheriff's Air Rescue 306 hoisted medics down to the location where they located Miss Huang deceased. Miss Huang and the medics were then airlifted off the mountain. We would like to thank all our personnel and volunteers that aided in the search, as well as a citizen that alerted U.S. Forestry. So again, unfortunate situation, but it kind of gets you to think again too, should people use, let's just say, drones when it comes to hiking as one of those essential toolkits where when you get lost, you can probably just throw it up in the air and see, oh, here I am, and make your way. Because there's been so many stories like these over the past couple of years, but there's a lot of people that says no, ban them from all certain areas because they think it's annoying, for example. Or the other talking point I often heard is you have to create over-the-top regulations because it doesn't matter what type of drone you're using. It could be like a small toy, for example. It could fly up 2,000 meters or whatever, crash into an aircraft, kill a lot of people. So because of that, you have to restrict it all. But with all that fear-mongering and so forth, how many times has that actually happened versus, let's just say, these situations where somebody could have used the tool in a great way to save their own life or someone else? Just based on what I read, this happens more frequently where an average person could actually use the tech in a good way. So unfortunate situation, but at the same time, is this an example too, where you should actually in many ways encourage people to use the tech in a responsible way and not make it over the top. And this was kind of interesting, as apparently Sweden was trying to choose things like drones for their armed forces and all that, and you'd be wondering which company they go with. Apparently it was Parrot. Haven't heard that company in the news in a while. This one says FMV delivers drones to Hemvärnet. The Swedish Defense Material Administration has commissioned RPAS to the Home Guard on behalf of the Swedish Armed Forces. RPAS stands for Remotely Piloted Aircraft System, i.e. remote controlled aircraft. Other uncommon terms in the field are UAV, Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, and UAS, Unmanned Aerial Systems. In a daily speech, we usually use the term drone for these aircraft. The system that is now delivered to the Home Guard is called UAV-06A and is part of the system of UAV-06 Skaten. Procurement and delivery of the UAV-06 represents a major step of the Home Guard's ability to solve, for example, surveillance and protection tasks. And as it says here, UAV-06A is of the Parrot ANAFI USA government type and contains a quadcopter model aircraft that is an aircraft operated by 4 rotors, as well as a hand control with a monitor for the control of the drone. The system also includes batteries and battery chargers. I do remember that actually, in terms of Parrot developing that drone. Are a lot more, I guess, countries using these types of drones nowadays developed by these companies, and will that actually bring a lot of these smaller companies to the market, let's just say potentially for consumers as well, if they become more profitable for these government types of purchases and all that. Or it could just be like what a lot of companies are doing, actually just exiting the consumer market because there's more profit to be made with these types of sectors. And I was reading more about that ArriveCan app scandal here in Canada, and it seems like, again, the more you read into it, the more scandalous it sounds. And this was kind of interesting, as there was a lot of words trending, for example, like the term $60 million, but apparently this was the reason. During a testimony of sorts, it says here, Auditor General finds that Trudeau's glaring mismanagement of ArriveCan that was supposed to cost $80,000 exploded to at least $60 million. Can you imagine that? Wow, that's some corruption if that's true and all that. So I guess when they were interviewing the person, they state that, for example, they estimate it's $60 million they probably spent, like who knows how, once they actually unveil everything, if they ever do. So you can first hear it here.
So $60 million is an estimate, is that correct?
Yes, we estimated that it cost around $59.5 million. There could be amounts there that should not be linked to ArriveCan, but there also could be amounts that are linked to ArriveCan that were not flagged in the books and linked to that project.
As well, it's kind of interesting, as I believe this person was asking her, is this the worst you've seen? I suppose to imply in terms of an accounting procedure, is this one of the most irresponsible things you've ever seen, for example? And she kind of implied in many ways, well, this was like one of the things that was irresponsible, like during these times. It makes me wonder how many more other things are there out there that was mismanaged in this way, as it was all about potentially funneling money to certain people by the sounds of it. It's just kind of crazy, huh, when you think about it. And will people be held accountable ultimately?
So I looked at a lot of contracting that happened during the pandemic, when the public service was acts quickly and serve the public. This would probably be the first example that I've seen where there is such a glaring disregard for some of the most basic and fundamental policies and rules and controls.
right. See you guys later.